Chapter 9: Mysterious Mystery to Perceive Natural Death Time in Life. Introduction. Anyone who takes birth, he dies after completing his lifespan. Everyone has a different lifespan. It is quite mysterious. It depends on various factors, including lifestyle, physical and mental well being, job activities, and various unknown mysterious factors, including past karmas, environment, genes, and many more unknown complex issues. How long one is going to live cannot be predicted scientifically, but it is certain that everyone leaves his physical body after few decades, which can be predicted based on the internal sensitive signals projected by the body. This is known only to an individual who monitors himself very sincerely. Through mysterious indications, natural death time can be approximately perceived by a sensitive human being. Some of the sensitive signals and indications are discussed and analyzed in this chapter to perceive natural death time when death is approaching. Birth and death. Birth and death are closely linked. Natural death is caused by the decay of the body and non-function of vital organs of the body. Human gross physical body consists of 5 basic elements, that is, air, water, fire, ether, and earth, that is, gross material. Physical body gets nourishment from food intake, water, and air. However, inside the physical body, there is soul light. Integration of soul with body keeps the body functional in a mysterious way. On separation of soul from body is termed as death. However, soul does not integrate with the body. Its integration seems to be like meeting horizon with earth. There are various causes of death. Without soul light, the physical body cannot survive. When a female is conceived, then the soul enters at the appropriate time in the body of the unborn baby in the womb. Soul is a spark of consciousness. Growth of the baby commences in the presence of consciousness. After 9 months, the baby is fully developed in the mother's womb, and then the birth of a baby takes place. Consciousness and growth of baby in womb. In this 9 months, in the presence of the soul, a full-fledged body of the baby is formed before delivery. Without soul light, the baby cannot grow in the womb. The presence of soul, that is, spark of consciousness, is a basic prerequisite for survival and growth of the baby in the womb. Soul is basically consciousness of the baby and in all living human beings existing on this globe. As soon as the baby is delivered, he or she does not breathe. Since the baby is connected with the mother by the navel cord and the baby gets all nourishment through this cord, the baby is not able to breathe because the lungs of the baby do not function in the womb. After delivery, the baby is forced to cry so that the breathing system should continue to function and the baby could survive by his own system and organs without depending on the mother as in the womb. Just after delivery, the baby survives by consciousness, only until the baby does not start breathing by the self-breathing system. Start of breathing and baby's demand for milk commences life of the baby in this existence. On death, man leaves his final breath. Then consciousness or soul gets separated from the body. Then he is declared dead. During death, consciousness or soul leaves the body last after the final breath is out. However, on the birth of the baby, intake of breath comes first and subsequently, consciousness or soul gets dormant in the body. When the soul, that is, part of consciousness, leaves the body, then the person is declared as dead. However, entering of the soul in the baby's body is the commencement of birth. Survival, life, and indication of death. So far, the human body is healthy. Survival of a person is continued if a proper lifestyle is maintained. However, with time, the body gets aged and becomes weak. Then, the body starts giving signals and projects various indications of its aging before the soul gets departed from the body. These inner indications should be very closely monitored by an individual to know approximately the final time of death. For natural death, the time of departure of the soul takes place gradually and gives very significant indications to a person to feel the time of the end of life from the present existence. Generally, signals can be monitored by an individual 9 months in advance prior to death. It is approximately the same 9 months when a lady is conceived and the soul enters the womb. Soul takes the same time to condense life force energy before it leaves the body, as various indications are evident to the physical body of the female when she gets conceived before she delivers the baby in 9 months. Similarly, approximately 9 months before indications start gradually and become significant just before the soul gets separated from the physical body, and then death occurs. Significant signals before death. During lifetime, when a person is survived, he can very closely see the tip of the nose when he concentrates on the nose with the spinal cord erect while sitting in a meditative posture. Approximately 9 months before death, gradually it becomes difficult to see the tip of the nose clearly. With time, it becomes difficult to see the tip of the nose. As the final time approaches, he will not be able to see the tip. This is because of the fact the eyeballs change their location from downward to upward direction as if he is looking sky. Vision gets directed upwards and it becomes easy for him to look upward in between the eyebrows than to look downward. This is the reason that a person just after death has his eyes opened and eyeballs are directed upwards. In this way, by monitoring his capability to look at the tip of the nose while he is alive, he can visualize approximately remaining time of his life. Change in breath pattern and consciousness before death. Approximately 9 months before there occurs significant change in breath pattern and consciousness of a person who is approaching death. His breath rate gradually comes down. By closely watching within, he can perceive that by breath in, inner energy in his system is not enhanced as happening earlier by intake of breath. His inner intrinsic system is not able to trap life force from breath intake. Breath goes out without transmitting its full energy to the system. Thus, life force energy gets reduced in the system since life force is converted from breath intake. This way, before death, person feels lack of prana and life force energies. All five pranas of the body gradually cease to function because of lack of life force energy. His system, in span of 9 months, gradually becomes very sluggish and his digestion capacity and strength goes on reducing. As breath rate slows down, he can perceive very clearly that his consciousness is getting manifested in the proportion as breath rate and energy is reducing. As final time of death approaches, breath rate starts diminishing. Indication before natural death. As breath rate gets diminished, manifested consciousness gets condensed to leave his physical body. Lack of life energy makes him physically weak, and then, with last breath, the person is no more. If in his lifetime he has manifested his consciousness, then consciously he can perceive that his soul is leaving physical body just after the last exhaled breath. Then clinically, he is declared dead. This is the death in awareness. This is indeed very significant achievement in life. Death of an enlightened person. The enlightened person has highly manifested consciousness. His physical body becomes very pure and light. Light can easily pass through his body as if it has become transparent. Under such condition, very light shadow of his physical body forms on the ground. This happened much prior to his death. When shadow becomes very light as if there is no shadow, then this becomes very clear to him and other enlightened person that his death is on the threshold. Any time he can leave his body consciously. Basically, gradually diminishing of shadow on the ground indicates how closely death is approaching. Full disappearance of shadow is the sign that soul is getting disengaged from the physical body. Concluding remarks. Life and death are two sides of the same coin. What happened during birth, reverse happens during death. Both are polar opposite and complementary to each other. During birth, we are unconscious, spark of consciousness that is soul along with seed of mind, subtle and causal bodies enter the tiny fetus seed body of the baby. During life, we are governed by breathe and consciousness, and during death, breath ceases, and consciousness leaves physical body with certain pattern. We can witness gradual death in advance if we are sensitive of our system and closely aware of breathe and consciousness. Our close awareness can make life, birth and death as mysterious play of the unknown for us. This is itself a miracle of the unknown. Through close awareness of breath and being highly conscious, approximate natural death time can be perceived.